Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to cimnanya, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So, I came across this video where Mariana Williams, right, actually came out to tell a lot of lies about Kamala Harris and all that. It's really amazing how people are trying to put some certain things together, and some people think this is a great time to, scatter. Like, how do you want to have a result when there is no unity, or everybody coming out together to do what is right? And this white woman actually came out to say that this is really a great time for white women to show up for this moment. Like, she is also calling her own white women to come in solidarity with black women and support the assignment. And she actually did not like what Marianne Williams said about Kamala Harris. Now, let me tell her this. And she went further to talk about how white women's tears and cries and all that affects black women or black people in general. You all already know how that, fragility and all that, how they show up and they start, they do not know how we are hurting and how other people are also hurting. But there is one thing I want to say. The truth is that if anything go wrong in this election, it's going to affect everybody. And they really do not understand that. Let's get into this video.
No wonder women of color say women who look like me are a huge disappointment.
So even with Vice President Kamala Harris raking in millions of dollars since yesterday's announcement, plus the increasing number of powerful endorsements, Marianne Williamson says, hold on, wait just a minute.
For somebody who supported this woman because I thought she stood for the bigger picture, I thought she stood to uplift and amplify racial justice, justice for all, democracy. And here we are at this blue wave where communities of color, women like me who are ready, fired up and ready, and you show up like this.
Ticket, you were on the debate stage with Kamala Harris when both of you were running for president. What do you think her strengths are? What do you think her weaknesses are?
She's an experienced woman. However, her weaknesses, what does she stand for? What issue do you associate with her? Her civil rights record is very bad. Sending people to jail, to prison for marijuana in California, not releasing people who even the courts had said should be released, and actually saying that she wasn't releasing them because they needed the cheap labor for firefighting in California. This idea that, when people say we just have to stand behind Kamala, usually these are people who can pay for health care. These are people who can afford to send their kids to college. There's a whole swath of Americans out there who are hurting. Kamala, how are we going to address that? Because if all we're going to do is to brag about what we've done in the last 4 years, she keeps saying, even in the clip you showed, President Biden is in there fighting for the American people. All credit where credit is due, and in many ways he has, but millions and millions, even tens of millions.
You show up like this, we're still gonna go. It's still gonna happen. Nothing is gonna stop this. But this misinformation, demeaning a black woman who has earned her position, and I just got my master's degree in one of the top schools in public administration and social governance. No, Marianne, please do better. Please do better. That's our assignment. Assignment for women who look like us in our privilege in positioning now, or to uplift full divine feminine to get to that place. And I am begging you today to do the right thing and everything you've stood for, as a fan of you and your books and your initial points. But it's shift gears, time to shift gears, lockstep in solidarity for the bigger win. That's what we're going to do. And we are definitely not going to show up like this and demean a woman of color. I am doing my best. I'm going to go for a walk and I'm going to paint and I'm going to do all my pause, reflect, response that I wrote about in a book. So I brought in the other voices, but apparently you haven't. Here's your first assignment. And any woman who does not understand what is happening and why everything is messed up. White tears, brown scars. How white feminism betrays women of color. This is a betrayal. This is a betrayal. This is anti-democracy because you're subverting the one shot we have for justice. So I'm going to go do my processing. I'm going to feel my grief and anger and all the feelings around this. But mostly now, that's just charged me up. I'm going to tag mutuals on this because this is unacceptable. And I am begging anybody who is now following this woman. I did. This is a huge disappointment. This is our moment. Too much is at stake. And Marian, I hope you please, I'm begging you to unpack this, inserting yourself with this, okay? We don't do this anymore. That's not the assignment. If you want solidarity, if you really care about what's at stake, you will endorse Kamala Harris immediately, and you ask her how you may be of service. Thank you.
If your leftist ideology, your leftist practice or argument that you're trying to make does not at core have empathy and humanity within that, I want you to understand that the power vacuum that occurs during or after the resistance, the rebellion, the revolution, okay, that vacuum gets filled with a behavior type personalities that have that same lack of empathy and humanity at their core, and they become, that will be you, become an authoritative regime. And that authoritative regime acts violently upon the people that they're trying to liberate in order to prove their ideology. And then what happens next is another authoritative state comes and squashes that regime, and the cycle repeats. Okay. I say all this as somebody that does not agree with the right, does not agree with moderates, does not agree with liberals. And I go all the way off the edge of left is what I say, is because of that lack of empathy and humanity in that space. And looking over and over again, you see, you read theory, you read all the history, but you don't see that the one thing that continues the cycle to repeat is having those ideologies and all the dogma without any sort of empathy, no humanity whatsoever. Just prove the ideology at all costs, no matter who's lost. As somebody that just isn't just reading books, as somebody that has experienced this stuff, okay, coming from a country and experienced guerrilla warfare, from a rebellion, resistance, revolution, so they say, okay, that was destabilized. I can let you know exactly the behavior and personality type is what's being exhibited on the internet today, and understand that you are setting yourself up, right, to exist in behavior patterns that is letting me know, as somebody that has experienced this in real time, that you guys during the revolution will be the ones then doing the new genocides in you know, whatever it is you're trying to say, you're trying to protect the ideology or argue your dogma and stuff, okay? Because you lack a core component of empathy and humanity in your whatever argument you're trying to make. That's the personality type you're giving, okay? It's the same behavior that I've seen face to face, okay? Anyways, y'all have a great day. Keep doing your back and forth shit. You guys are saying, well, what do we do in this case? What do we do in this case? I think maybe the first step is maybe talking to people that have experienced some of this shit. Talk to people that have experienced the destabilization of shit, and find out how they were able to operate in their material life. How were they able to either overcome that, or if they're still in that, what struggles are they having getting out of that now? But I know the whole thing with the nationalism, and you guys always want a moral grandstand against each other and things like that. Moral grandstand against each other. Sorry, English is depleting. You want a moral grandstand. You don't understand that your nationalism is keeping you even from the nationalism that some of y'all deny keeping you from talking to people outside of your walls and talking to people that your state has actually violenced. You can actually speak to them directly. We all over the fucking internet, but that's just one thing I do see within this talking back and forth within leftists especially, and I'm say that because I'm the closest to y'all in reality. Okay, but yeah. Check your empathy meter. Check your gauge on humanity, on how you respond and how you argue points and things like that. Because like I said, the pattern of behavior and personality trait that you're showing, it gives me very much butt naked with his AK running across the street, coming towards me 5 years old and shit. That's what it's giving. Okay, all right, have a nice day. And by the way, there are ways to resist and violence the state and still keep your humanity and empathy at base. Okay, you have to gauge. And in order to do that, maybe y'all should start talking to people that have been through shit, actually. Okay.
One of the main reasons this level of moral superiority and vitriol is spewed in the way that it is to communicate on here, specifically in like political discussions and things like that, and how to activate, specifically in the not voting for Trump. And it doesn't just happen with them, not just the leftist space, liberal space, everything, okay? One of the main core reasons is because people are not talking to human beings, okay? They're talking to a screen. I'm sitting here right now with a cold-ass inanimate object in my hand, a phone I'm talking to, okay? It's actually not that cold. It's hot as fuck. My battery old. This phone old as fuck. But yeah, I'm not getting a new one, by the way. But yeah, that's why. It's because they're not in front of actual human beings. They can smell, see them respond with their eyeballs. Like, what the fuck are you saying? You know what I mean? It's not somebody responding directly back to me, to them, okay, to us, when we talking like this. And if you're not aware of that, yeah, you're going to go into these spaces and stuff and not realize that you talking to superiority is because you are talking to something that you're superior than. An inanimate object, a phone. You're not talking to human beings. That's why they're able to do this. Because to be honest with you, in actual organizing leftist spaces and stuff like that, we doing stuff. Nobody talking to each other crazy like this on the internet. Nobody telling 3-minute speeches. Nobody telling 3-minute speeches and stuff like that, cussing somebody out, making them feel like they lower to them. You're not going to be able to cooperate. You're not going to get anything done, okay? You can have disagreements and things like that with some people, but and it's going to happen. It's inevitable to not agree. But if you have a common goal, you're going to have to talk to each other like with some level of humanity to get this shit done. I promise you, listen, as much as I am anti-Christian, okay? Anti-Christian. I talk about anti-Christian stuff all the time, okay? With the doctrine and ideologies. Last summer, I had to organize, do mobile clinics in a church parking lot. I had to organize with the church, with pastors and stuff, okay? And I was still talking my stuff. I will never get to that point unless you slap me first, and I'm not turning the other cheek, okay? I'm gonna slap you back, okay? But we was laughing about this shit. Talking as human beings face to face to organize. To have people have free mobile screenings, health screenings in a parking lot for free. And I was able to organize that with people that I inevitably disagree with at an ideological level wholeheartedly. But people were able to get seen that day, to get free psychological screenings and shit, set themselves up. The people that could not afford that. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I'm in their face like, I'm fucking better than you. I'm more moral than you. What is that? What is morality when people cannot get proper health care to be functional in their minds? What is that? That's what I mean. And it's easy also to do this on this app in the way that people do it, okay? It's because this is a performing app. Okay? They're not really actually doing this shit in real life. It's a performance. You turn the camera on, you press record, and now you got a whole camera in your face. Whole camera in your face recording you, eh? People set themselves up, they set their lighting and everything up to come and talk to you. But they're not talking to you actually. They're talking to a phone, a screen. That's why people are able to talk in the minute they do with each other on here, because they're not actually talking with each other. They're talking to inanimate objects like lights and a fucking metal cell phone. A metal cell phone. Sorry, y'all, I had to come inside. It's hot as hell outside. But yes, at the end of the day, if you're in reality, you're really talking to people in actuality in these spaces. Some people inside the system, I'm out. But if I need something done and you inside, I'm going to shout. And I'm not going to be disrespectful about it because I need that shit done so I can activate on the outside more effectively, easily, less laboriously. Okay? Like I said, efficiency. But yes, that's why. It's because, once again, we on here talking to a fucking screen.
So this is all I got from this video, and sincerely speaking, I am not sure. This is new to us, especially working with white women, and when it comes to people of color, right? They have not always been sincere, and now it's really amazing how Marian came out, and all she could say is that there are some places or some things she is lacking and all that, and that she put. So, this news has really been all over, saying that Kamala Harris put some people in prison over Mariana, and she was not the one. She did not do anything like that, right? Because I was able to follow up with the story and found out that anything that happened was not on her watch, or it was not also in her, like, her department, right? So it's crazy how these people, I mean, the truth is that I know already that they are scared. I mean, like, seeing a lot of black women and also some white women, and all that, like, a lot of people are coming up for her, a lot of people were supporting, and that is a little bit, like, shocking to them, like, how can she have all this support to herself? And I mean, why is that even happening, and all this woman could do was just come out here to lie to herself. And the one thing with all these people is that when they are telling the lies, reality is that there is someone like them also that believe all the lies that they are telling. And then, one thing with some people that are not ready to make research, I mean, like, they will believe you and they work with that, right? It's really, I love how the first woman, the woman that started the whole video, how she said that, like, they really need to read a lot, how their tears and how their attitude, their behavior towards people like that look like me, how it affects us. Because most times when we talk about the thing, you all remember the discourse that happened back then about black women saying that they would never want to work with white women, because you all already know what they've been doing from the onset, that they would rather work with white men, right? And they really became so angry, like, how will white black women say that? Like, they were really very mad. And before I could say Jack, they started going around demonetizing people's like, pages and all that. And did I tell you the last one that happened was it happened to Sister Tabitha? She's really a great voice on TikTok. She's a black woman, right? They took her channel down and she started in your. So it's really been a hassle working with them. And I am not sure, because this Kamala Harris situation, like I keep telling you, I am not advocating for anybody, but black women really came all out because they know what is going to happen if the other one, like, there are so many, right? It looks like some people are not. One thing with some people is that when a story comes and fades away, I mean, it fades with their senses, they will not remember what happened. Project 2025 is really real. Some people are not remembering that. Project 2025, 900 and something pages. Some people think it's a joke, but the reality is that most of the things that happened, like they said, they are already happening, right? And it's better for us to really wake up, because so many things will be happening. Your rights are going to be taken away. And one thing some people do not understand, especially women, they think it's some certain things are only going to, I know most things affect black people, but it's going to also affect us, and some will also affect you people, right? So why not everybody come together and make sure that, like, we are in unison. I know it's not going to be possible because, politics is just a kind of crazy game, some people play with their emotions, some people play with their brain, some people play with their heart. But there is nothing as beautiful as really coming out to do what is right. Because when you do what is right, trust me, in the end, everybody will go home happy, right? Because what is happening is not something, it's just going to be a collective effort. And I really hope you all are ready to make that happen. If not, black women are not going to fix any democracy. I hope you all know that. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.